Welcome on a glorious morning. I mean, it is fantastic someplace on this planet, you know. and I wouldn't be surprised if it's with our classy and sometimes sassy host of this show, the First Lady of Sports Talk, out of Southern Florida, the one and only Cheryl Smith. I'm sure it is nice in your part of the country.
Yeah, it is nice. You know, we've been really having some nice weather. It's basically in the 70s and, you know, the high 70s. So I would say that's very comfortable.
Oh, y'all kicking back with those drinks with the umbrellas in them in the backyard. Okay.
No, we're just glad all the spring breakers are gone. Trust me, because we were in curfew. Okay, that was something.
Oh man, you know, I don't mean, well, I'm reading this article because, you know, I try to stay up on, you know, things that, you know, I ain't too into pop, but I try to stay up on the stuff that might impact something. And, First Lady, I just did not know how popular your governor is. I did not. They had some kind of poll. I don't know if they had people take drinks before them or if they gave them drugs, but they said that he is the number one favorite if Donald Trump don't run for president. And I'm looking, and I'm like, shoot, he might be in jail with Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's being investigated.
When these investigations, because, you know, there's a point, you know, I'm looking at, you know, you ever heard the song "Payback is a Dog"? Heard that term? And you know, I'm looking at, you know, some of these, Republicans need to watch out because the guy that they did not allow to go to the Supreme Court is now the head of the Justice Department. So, now they might be going, you know, we might have preferred for him to be on the Supreme Court than head the Justice Department. But that's a whole different story. Check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring a performance from Funktastic Players, where they find their shine star get the cold feel of the mute button. And the cold feel ain't funky. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Jimmy G wishes he could fly far away from the speculation that the 49ers traded up to replace him. Are the 49ers going to use that number 3 pick to get the quarterback of the future and keep Jimmy G as a placeholder? Did Jimmy G turn into Jimmy Oft injured? Is this a better deal for the Dolphins or for the 49ers? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, Jimmy G, let's talk about Jimmy G. You know, Jimmy G, very nice-looking guy. Ooh, very, very, very. One of the most handsome football players you ever want to see. But, you know, Jimmy G was once thought of as the heir apparent to Tom Terrific Brady. However, Brady was upset, and you remember he went to the owner, Robert Kraft, and complained to him that he is not ready to give up the helms to Jimmy G. So, you know what Kraft did? He ordered Belichick to trade Jimmy G to the 49ers. The issue in New England, Jimmy was due for a new contract, and he wanted to get paid. So now Jimmy G is in another situation with the 49ers. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, he realized that Jimmy G is not the franchise quarterback he thought he was. Because why would the 49ers trade up from the 12th pick to the 3rd pick in this draft? The only reason they moved up is to draft a quarterback because, this is supposed to be the quarterback-rich draft. Now, the question becomes, will the 49ers start the rookie and trade Jimmy G, or will they give Jimmy G one more year, basically, to train his rookie? That's a sad place to be. But anyway, apparently, though, now listen to this. The 49ers have been putting out there that they will not trade Jimmy G. But we all know that's just a bunch of noise because they want to increase his trade value because we all know that Jimmy G is dead quarterback walking. That's what it is. Man, when you look at Jimmy G with the 49ers, he had just so many injuries in the 3 years with them. He's going on the 4th year. I mean, he missed most of the 2018 and the 2020 season. He was only healthy in 2009, and of course that was the year the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. But let's just say this right off the bat. They didn't go to the Super Bowl because of Jimmy G. They went to the Super Bowl because they had a darn good defensive team, coaching, and also they had a lot of weapons. And, so Jimmy G had a lot of weapons to throw. But if you remember in that Super Bowl, Jimmy G could have won it for the 49ers if he had made that touchdown pass to Emmanuel Sanders. You remember in the end zone, and he missed him. And, hey, you know the story. KC came back and went on to win the Super Bowl. And, Jimmy G is just right there now for the 49ers, and he's like in limbo. And I really think maybe Bill Belichick will trade for Jimmy G, but I was saying to myself, they already signed Cam Newton to a contract. But in reality, I could see Jimmy G and Cam Newton in a competition for a starting quarterback. And who knows? If Jimmy G wins out, they could use Cam Newton still because they could use him the way Sean, I can't think of his last name right now, in New Orleans, the way he used to use that guy Taysom Hill with Drew Brees. You remember he had Taysom Hill come in to run the football sometimes, and, he could do that with Cam. We don't know. But anyway, it's a precarious situation right now for Jimmy G because he doesn't know what's going to happen to him. And, he has to believe that his days are numbered in San Francisco because you don't move up to draft a quarterback. But now when you look at this deal, though, who made the better deal? Of course, on paper, everything believes that the Dolphins made the better deal because they're very secured with their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. And you know what? You have to say the situation that's been going on with the Deshaun Watson, that had a effect on these teams. That's the reason why the Dolphins made the trade that they made because guess what? They're not touching Deshaun Watson anymore. They really feel that, oh, yeah, all of a sudden Tua Tagovailoa, he is the quarterback that they want to keep. Before all this mess came out with Deshaun Watson, there was question that they were going to get rid of Tua Tagovailoa, but not anymore. So, the Dolphins received the 12th pick in this year's draft and the 3rd and 1st pick in the 2022 draft and a 1st pick in 2023. So the Dolphins were very busy because they went and parlayed that 49ers picks into another trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know what the Eagles are doing, but that's another question here or there. But anyway, the Dolphins sent that 12th pick for the 49ers and a 2022 first-round pick. I'm assuming it's from the same pick that they received from San Francisco. Maybe it could be a swap. I don't know if they do that in the NFL the way they do that in the NBA. And they also sent their number 123rd pick in this year's draft, exchange from the Eagles. The Dolphins got the 6th pick. And Philly number 156 pick in this year. So, I mean, the Dolphins really did a lot of finagle. Basically, what they got was, the sixth pick in this draft, and they can go ahead and draft a wide receiver because it's also a very rich class of players for draftees for wide receivers. And so basically they got that first round pick, the sixth round pick this year, and a first round pick in 2023. So all said and done, I really think the Dolphins won that deal because the 49ers, it's going to be a crapshoot to determine if the quarterback, all those quarterbacks after Trevor Lawrence, people really don't know how well they're going to be. You know, Trevor Lawrence is a surefire first pick number one. You know what he's going to be. So who knows if the other quarterbacks in the draft are franchise quarterbacks. But I'll tell you one thing. They better pray that they're not in the same situation as the Chicago Bears when they moved up to draft Mitch Trubisky. We know how that ended. All right, Spitface, what's your opinion about this whole finagling with the Dolphins and the 49ers and Jimmy G?
Yeah, I'm looking at Jimmy G, and the precarious situation that he's in is that he got paid. Jimmy G got paid. And, it is there's no guarantee in your NFL career that you will win a Super Bowl. That's no guarantee. No matter how great you are, there are plenty of greats in the Hall of Fame who did not win a Super Bowl. So that is not a guarantee. There is no guarantee that injury and other things will not happen to you and shorten your career. But the one thing that is guaranteed is the guaranteed amount of money that they had to pay you. And Jimmy G got paid. He got paid. And kind of speaking into a little bit of what the First Lady said, when you got cover guy looks, that broadcast booth can be your second career. So if you can speak too and you got the look, hey, TiVo making a nice little change in that booth. You can too, Jimmy G. But but when I'm kind of looking at it is that Jimmy G. When we brought up Jimmy G, I thought of Carson Wentz, and it's just like you say, you might have all the talent in the world, but if you can't be on the field, what good is it? So Jimmy G might have all sorts of tricks up his sleeve. He may be able to do a lot of things, but if he can't be on the field, it just ain't going to work out. Because it just ain't going to work out. Now, this is probably a good move for Jimmy G. Because, one, he already got paid. Two, fresh start someplace else. I don't get he's going to go back, that he's going back to the Patriots. And because, before injuries, back to the after the injuries, it's like, hey, I already got Cam Newton who can be injury prone. So I don't get he's going back there. But he is. There are too many teams that need a quarterback that aren't going to. Somebody gonna make a deal for Jimmy G. And it may not be the greatest deal for the 49ers because all the teams know that they're going to get rid of him. And I think it would hurt the 49ers to have Jimmy G there in the new presumptive future of the franchise. They need to let Jimmy go and just roll with whoever they draft from day one. They might as well just say, dude, you're going to be the starter, and just start on out. And Jimmy G don't, well, I put it like this. Like I said, Jimmy G, if you don't play another down, there's that boot, and you got paid. That's all. Oh, now, the Dolphins did do some finagling. It almost made me think that they might actually have somebody running that organization. Like who actually like has forethought. Because, like you said, they got a boatload of picks in good positions, spread out. I mean, who did they hire? Because it's like they made it's like Miami made a good sense deal, and it really is. So I'm still in that space, First Lady, but that's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, Jimmy G had a 5-year contract that was given to him by the 49ers, and he has 2 more years left on that contract, and he's making around $24 million a year. And actually, it's considering what these quarterbacks are making now, his contract is not that bad. So we'll see what is in his future, But, yeah, he got those looks. He can become an actor, too. Definitely become an actor.
Well, you got to have talent, but, not really. But
not everybody. Look, there'll be a lot of football players move into acting. So, anyway, I don't know if they had talent. You can be coached. Trust me on that. They got a lot of acting coaches out there that can help you. But, anyway, over to you, Spitface.
I got visions of Rosie Greer.
Rosie Greer.
Rosie Greer.
Tim Brown. Fred Wilkerson. What's his name? Fred Williamson. There's been a whole bunch of
the Hammer.
a whole bunch of Chuck Connors. Remember the old Chuck Connors? Wasn't he a football player? Or was he a? He was an athlete. I remember he was.
I'm going to have to look that up. I never, knew he had anything to do with athletics. I only remember them from the Rifleman. And there are listeners who going, who in the hell is Chuck Connors and what is a Rifleman? The only are you talking about somebody before Kevin Durant? Don't call it to come back. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm towering, wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are talking about the knockout punch, the father time, and ring rust that Oscar De La Hoya intends to demonstrate on July 3rd against an unknown opponent. Has Oscar been watching too many Rocky movies? He's 48 years old, and his last fight was in 2008. Is there any chance he can really make a comeback? Does boxing really need another long-tooth, over-the-hill boxer trying to get a payday? If Oscar wins, what does that say about his competition? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell. I ask him, what you saying? First Lady, I'm like, when I heard the announcement, and at first, I just thought that they were, going to make a commentary like Oscar De La Hoya had, maybe did something, like contributed to somebody in sports or attended some event. Oh, there was but announcing he gonna fight again. And now I don't know if the fires of competition may be burning in the man's belly. But I'm like 48. You ain't fought since 2008. That's 13 years. Who is this unknown opponent? And if the unknown opponent is less than 40 years old, and he loses the fight, I is this the kind of, I just want to be in the ring and compete again, and just you could kind of do that without announcing a return. You could just have a fight. You could just, hey, you know what? I won't say like amateur, but maybe. Like whatever they got, you could get a fight, But I guess you Oscar De La Hoya, the name is there, the same as the game, and so it can't play like that. But what the hell are you doing? Just go find you a good sparring partner. Say, hey man, look, we're gonna just go for it. Here's an extra grand or something. And but you're gonna get in the ring. You want the fans and all of that. Now I'm going, who the hell gonna pay? I ain't paying to see Oscar De La Hoya fight somebody at 48 against an unknown opponent. That ain't no. But First Lady, if the unknown opponent is somebody anywhere decent, okay, I don't mean like in the top 10, 20, something like that, but like somebody just a competitive and got a shot, and he beats them, then hey, but I still ain't gonna pay no money. First Lady, what you saying?
Well, Oscar De La Hoya, no, I don't think he was watching too many Rocky movies. He watched the Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight. That's what he watched. And he said he could do that and make money. So that's why he's coming out of retirement. But no, it is interesting that he wants to come out of retirement. Because when most people come out of retirement, it's because they need to make the money. But I'm sorry, but Oscar De La Hoya is estimated has a net worth of $200 million. So I don't really think it has anything to do with money. All it is it's about redemption, because he wasn't satisfied the way he lost to Floyd Mayweather by a split decision 13, 14 years ago. And that is his ultimate goal, is to have a rematch with Floyd Moneymaker Mayweather. Now, we all know the problem is both of them are past their time. He should have fought that rematch many, many years ago. But guess what? People will still pay top money to see that particular fight. Oscar De La Hoya, he has a really great following, and many of his fans will show up. And and believe it or not, if they had a fight with Floyd, people will show up just to see if Floyd would lose, because he's not really a favorite. Everybody wants to root against Floyd Mayweather. So actually,
man, they love to hate.
Yeah, that fight would be a top seller. I know it would be. But the one coming up now with Oscar De La Hoya, I mean, come on now. They haven't even announced who the opponent's going to be. And you could rest assured that whoever the opponent is, he's someone that Oscar De La Hoya could beat, or he's someone that was paid not to win. Trust me on that. Because like I said, his ultimate goal is to have that rematch with Floyd Mayweather. And, I'm kind of tired of all these fighters over the Hill Gang wanting to come back. They just recently posted, because Tyson was supposed to fight Holyfield. I don't know if you heard about that one, too. He was supposed to fight Holyfield. Holyfield wanted to come back and fight Tyson, but I believe the fight has been called off right now. I don't know what's going on. I think I read recently that it has been called off. But it's just too many people, too many former boxers. I mean, they just need to give up. It's over. It's over. So, I mean, I don't know. Like you say, he fought, since 2008, and he lost. He lost to Pacquiao. So I just don't see him doing that well. To be honest with you, he fought Floyd right now. I would go with Floyd, because Floyd at least has been fighting, somewhat. He's been retired for several years, but not as many years as
2008.
As 2008. That seemed like a lifetime ago. But I don't know. I just think it's getting ridiculous, to be honest with you. You know what the problem is? We really don't have a great heavyweight. We just don't have a great champions in boxing. That's probably what it is. So many people are into MMA. They had that fantastic fight last night, even though I missed the fight. But, you know, my son wants to do MMA boxing. Oh, my gosh. But anyway, he's really gotten me into the MMA boxing, and that really has taken the shine away from that boxing. But if you had people in the heavyweight division that could fight, and the heavyweight division would be popular right now, you know, maybe this would be okay. But right now, boxing is so desperate. We got to bring back the old gang to come back and fight. Sad state of boxing right now. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
Yeah, you know, First Lady, it is a. I thought only bands did reunion tours, and but now I see. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, and we'll have another performance fun from the Funktastic Players on Shout Out Part 1. And let me just let you know, for Chuck Connors, I knew there was something significant about him. He played professional basketball and professional baseball. He is one of only 13 athletes in the history of American professional sports to do that.
Chuck Connors.
He played for the Cubs, and he played for the Boston Celtics. He only played a total of 3 years. Total of 3 years.
Well, 3 years. Back then, that was a lifetime.
Well, he played 1949 to 1951 for the Cubs, and he played 1947, 1948. So he did it simultaneously. Okay, yeah, he did it simultaneously. That's wow. Yeah, you remember Chuck? Well, see, I know I'm telling my age now.
I said I watched The Rifleman, but
yeah,
I didn't get he was an athlete. You know, I thought he was an actor.
Chuck Connors was built.
You know, but like I said, I thought he was just an actor, you know, but now I know.
I remembered that for some reason. I don't know why, but I did. Anyway, let's go to break.
Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Funktastic Players.
On Shout-Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today, we are featuring the music from Funktastic Players out of Springdale, that's Illinois. I don't know, but anyway, let's hear Funky Baby Blues.
Funktastic, play it!
That's the Funktastic. All right, out of Illinois. All right, Spitface, I'm definitely going to shout it out. You know, it's old school funk, you know, like the old, you know, like that group, the Average White Band group. That's what it sounds like to me, that type of music. And, you know, who doesn't like that? I mean, who doesn't like the funk, right? I mean, you know, now they're not George Clinton and the Funkadelics, but, you know, they don't have that type of funk, but they're okay. I'm going to shout them out. Are you shouting them out, or are you hitting the mute button?
I thought they was funky enough for me. I'll go with them. I'll shout them out.
You said they were funky enough for you.
Yeah, they were groovy.
They were grooving. All right. Well, on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll have another performance from Funktastic Players. Now, we know this particular, I keep calling him a person because he makes me feel some way like he's a person, but he's our player. Is it the sound of our favorite underwater friend? He likes to play underwater. It's time for Flip It.
Y'all, it is time for Funky Flipper. Flipper was feeling the funk. And first, I think that's Springdale, Missouri. There's a Springfield, Illinois. There's probably a Springdale in every state of the union.
But they're from Missouri? Okay.
No, I don't know. They didn't say. They just said Springdale.
There's a Springdale, Illinois.
Like I said, there's probably a Springfield every place in the union. Every state got a Springdale, you know.
Yeah.
There's a Springdale, Texas, you know. All right. Now it's time for Flip, where our host defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. Will Georgia, on my mind. Jim Crow 2.0 voter suppression laws backfire in the next election. Defend. The Republicans move quick enough to make sure the damage is done for the next election. They win this round. First Lady, all I can say is tiss, tiss, tiss. And I'm tissed off. That's right. I'm tissed off at the nerve of the white racist party. I mean, we were supposed to be talking about the Republicans, right? That's right. That's right. The Republicans are the white racist party, you know. And now they want to, and now they just say, forget it. We are not going to even pretend that, you know, that the situation is like we trying to, you know, make sure that we can true the vote. And make sure that no, you know, illegal aliens ain't vote, and making sure that people on Mars haven't snuck in and broke the machines, the daddy dogs. But they move quick enough, because, see, they know the midterms is going to be up in 2 years, and that's right around the corner. By the time all the lawsuits done got fought and all this stuff, and you know, and you know, even they get rid of the filibuster. You got Joe Manchin up in West Virginia, you know, going, you know, we need to hold on to this relic that was put in to suppress people in the first place. But First Lady, this round the damage is done. They know that the courts are going to take too long. By the time things resolve, they're going to have line. First Lady, no water. You can't give somebody in line, hey, let me go get you. Oh, no, you done violated the election law. Yeah, come on. First Lady, the damage is done. Defend.
Well, like you said, basically these Republicans are securing their future for many presidential elections. That's what they're doing. They got scared when they lost the election in Georgia, and they went back and they worked to create, these voter suppression laws. And, they're in 28 states, they have already filed 106 bills restricting voting laws, restricting people's right to vote. And the one in Georgia really has already passed. Obviously, it's entered into law in the state of Georgia. However, it is being appealed. And like you said, Spitface, is probably going to be held up in court and all that. But I don't know if the judge will do a stay when it comes to the midterm elections, because we already know Supreme Court, because it's eventually going to get to the Supreme Courts, and we know that it's not going to change. Once these laws are created in the state, they will become law, and there will be nothing that we can do about it, and that's a darn shame. And that's why it's so important in these states when you have these local elections. People don't realize when it comes to local elections, that affects you more than a national election does, because local is right there. That's the things that you do within your state. And that's what happens. So many people don't go to these local elections. And this is what happened. These Republicans, they'll win most of these local elections, and that's why they can, 28 states out of 56, that's a lot of states, right? On the presidential election, you see all those red states. There's only a few blue states. And those are Democratic states, so it's sad. You're going to have all these laws to restrict voter registration. And you're right, that nonsense about you can't be given water. I mean, there is a law that you'll have people from the different parties and the people voting, that they'll have their representatives. They can't come and give you propaganda literature and everything, because that's against the law. But just to hand your water, I mean, come on, that's so nonsense. But it is terrible to think about it, because when we had the absentee ballots, I mean, think about it. In the history of our United States, that was the best. Many people voted because of this. Because when you make it easy for people to vote, that's the best thing to go by, and it's just ridiculous. So, the Republicans, they're going to win. The Supreme Court is not going to overturn these decisions. They always upheld the state laws. That's why they didn't do anything for Donald Trump. So, I hate to say it, they're going to win this round, and they're going to be permanent. Nothing we can do about it.
All right, the Republicans, otherwise known as the White Racist Party. But I would have to. I have known, I'll say, black folk who were Republicans, and I wasn't mad at them, because the debate would be about an idea. Well, we think we should go this way, but the Republicans only rely on the culture wars. And because they have no ideas. So it's time to flip the script, defend, backfire, on fire, Mississippi and Georgia burning. The Republicans have made a huge mistake that will blow up in their faces come next election. The Republicans should have learned a lesson from their own behavior. And that behavior is politicizing wearing a face mask during a pandemic. And what they did was they said the state is going to make you do something. And they know if there's anything a red-blooded Americans hate is being told that they're going to have to do something. Even if it's something that's good for them, and it's a minor inconvenience. We do not like to be told what to do. On the flip side, we don't like being told what we can't do. Well, you can't do this, or we're going to stop you this way. And and why I say red-blooded Americans is because it ain't a white racist thing or a black thing. We are in a country where we've been taught that we're supposed to get what we want, how we want, and when we want. That's pretty much how this program. Now, we may not get it, but we get upset. We don't like that. And what they have done is lit a fire under, I'll just say, under all of the cultural groups that they keep battling against. To say, look, y'all, we know that we are a minority, but we're going to turn this into apartheid, where the minority rules, not the majority. Now, when even over 50% of Republicans say, we don't like that, we don't like this approach, because they even realize that, you know what, put all this stuff in, and what are we going to do if the Democrats win anyway? Well, if the Democrats win anyway, that means a lot of these state legislatures and House legislatures might slide into the Democratic column, which means that the very laws that they put in place would end up blowing up in their face. Because then the Democrats could say, well, you know what? We don't like that Republican result, and we want to throw it out. Now, I don't think it's going to come to all of that, because I do think that somehow or another they're going to slip some LSD or something into Joe Manchin's coffee, and he's going to mysteriously all of a sudden decide to get rid of the gosh darn filibuster, which is the biggest Jim Crow relic. And he is going to be under some intense pressure. Now, the best thing for Joe is to make a deal, because the fires are burning. This is blowing up. This, the alert is on. It's full. See, the Republicans done forgot that folks been battling them since Trump came. Well, before then, but when Trump came in, both sides went up to Armageddon. So they ain't gonna have no smooth path. First Lady, please defend.
I look at this like this way, regardless of these laws that these Republicans are putting in place, Democrats are resilient. They're very resilient. They will make do, and they will combat whatever the Republicans are doing. I mean, let's take, for example, look at Stacey Abrams. When she lost the race for the governor, and there was a lot of voter suppression during that time, and, of course, you had Kemp, who she was running against. He also was the Secretary of State for and over the voter election, which was ridiculous, a conflict of interest. But that, you know what? She overcame. And what did she do? She went and got people registered to vote. She took action. So I see the Democrats are going to be resilient regarding all these laws to suppress voting, that they're going to look at each of these laws, and what are they going to do? They're going to work around these laws. They're going to get more people registered. In Georgia, some of the laws are, because if you're going to use the absentee ballot, you have to show your ID. But in Georgia, there was like over 2,000, I forgot how many thousands of people that did not have a license. So they were still allowed to vote. These people will not be able to vote again under the new law. So you know what's going to happen? Democrats, somebody will get together and see how they can get these people licensed in order to vote. So that's the main thing. It's all about working around these loopholes that these Republicans are putting in place, because they think that they're doing all this voter suppression, that people are still not going to come out to vote. No. Like you said, Spitface, you really have lit a fire under Democrats now, because, we're dealing with all these Jim Crow laws. We're not going back to that type of era. So the Democrats will definitely come back out to vote, regardless of how many times Republicans try to restrict us from voting, and it's not going to work. It will not work because, like I said, Democrats are very, very resilient. They will find a way to work around these restrictions. Trust me on that. And like you said, the 2022 midterms, you'll see. We need to work on the local levels to get rid of all of these racist Republicans. That's what we need to do. We got to work on the local levels. Then when you can set your state laws. So, I mean, most of these people that we're putting into office are going to be there for a while. But, you know, if you got any local elections coming up, you need to vote wisely and think about your local elections. But we're going to be resilient. The Democrats are very, very resilient, Spitface. So they will come up with their strategy to work around all of these restrictive laws that are in place. Like I said, 106 bills in 28 states. That's ridiculous.
And now, First Lady, I'm just going to add on one thing. And the Republicans keep state houses because they're able, because once they have it, they can do gerrymandering.
Right,
so
the governor. When you vote for the governor, they can do that.
Yeah, so they can ensure that on the local level that they're picking their voters instead of the voters picking them. Yeah. But here's the thing, is that the midterms, a lot of times during midterms, the governor and state offices are up. And that's where your vote will not get diluted. Because with the gerrymandering, what they do is they put they draw a district where, okay, all the black people be in one district, and then all the white people be in 4 or 5 several districts. So that way they can control the state legislatures. But hey, but not the governors and just turn out. First Lady, we have delved into the politics enough. Please take us to break.
Yes, we have. Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2.
The Republican Party. Hit it.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
You know, First Lady and I love the dumb criminals. We love the dumb because they shouldn't have been criminals in the first place. But there's dumb, and then there's poetic justice. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this might fall somewhere in between. Venice burglar accidentally takes selfie with the victim's iPhone. Venice, Los Angeles. Los Angeles police are asking for the public's help to identify a suspect who burglarized a home in Venice and accidentally took a selfie with the victim's iPhone. The suspect entered a residence on Paloma Avenue near Speedway around 7 a.m. through an unlocked door, police said. While inside the living room of the residence, the suspect grabbed the victim's iPhone and accidentally activated a video application, which then took a selfie of the suspect. The suspect took the iPhone and fled the scene. A woman and 2 15-year-old girls were inside the home at the time of the burglary. The suspect was described as a black male. In the selfie, he's seen wearing a dark hat. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information about the suspect was asked to contact LAPD. We thank you for this public service announcement, and we have a funny feeling that if he took the selfie, he's going to be selfie in jail. Guys, there in the water splash, so it must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It. First Lady, over to you.
The Pistons and the Timberwolves are battling it out. Not for an NBA championship. For that number 1 draft pick, we asked the panel who will win the number 1 pick. Panel defend. The Timberwolves will make the mistake of winning a game, and the Pistons will get the top pick. Spitface defend.
The problem, I'll say, with the Timberwolves is that they have not learned the artistry behind tanking. They haven't quite learned that artistry. Because when you're a team that's been up, down, you had winning seasons, really bad years, kind of been over there. You haven't, oftentimes you just kind of rolling with what's going on instead of being proactive and making sure that you tank and you get that number one pick. Now, so the Timberwolves are going to mess around, and when a lot of the more competitive teams come to play them, their playoff positions will be locked in. They'll be resting starters. The Timberwolves will mess around and win a couple of games. Now, see, the Pistons, they're kind of doing a couple of smart things, like getting rid of people so that they make sure that they lose. So, First Lady, the Pistons will get the top pick because the Timberwolves don't know how to tank.
Okay, the Timberwolves don't know how to tank. You know what, Spitface? You are right about that. They do not know how to tank. And when you look at the Timberwolves, I mean, to be honest with you, they are a more talented team on paper. You seem to wonder why they can't just seem to get things right. Because God knows they've had number one draft picks for several years and at least top 3, top 5 draft picks because they are always bad. And unfortunately, Karl Anthony Towns, he had been out for many, many games. He had gotten COVID, and God rest him. He's has gone through so much, and now he's back. So unfortunately, with him being back now, guess what? They starting to beat on their chest a little bit, and unfortunately, you're right. They do not know how to play the game. The game is you fade for Cade. Fade for Cade. That's Cade Cunningham, okay? Possibly going to be the number one pick. But then when you look at it, the Timberwolves already got so many draft picks. I don't know, like you said, they just don't know how to do it. And the Pistons, like you said, the Pistons are smart. They gave up some of their players. I mean, they gave up on Blake Griffin. I mean, he was making so much money, but he was so bad on the Pistons, he had not even dunked in a whole year. He got on the Brooklyn Nets team after what? One game he dunked. You explain that to me. It doesn't even make any sense. But the Timberwolves, again, they're like a tweener. They really have the people to win. They just don't know how to win. And like you said, Spitface, they don't know how to lose either. They don't know how to tank, or as I said, fade for Cade. So the Pistons definitely will win the pick, and it will be interesting because they're going to go down to the battle because right now, the Timberwolves are, I think, 11-35, and the Pistons are 12-35. May have it backwards, but they're close. They right there neck and neck, and they're going to battle it out. But I think the Pistons actually have already stated that they're going to the youth. They're going to the youth, and that's why they're tearing the team down. All right, Spitface, let's flip the script and defend. Fortunately for the Timberwolves, the Pistons will accidentally win when they shouldn't. Spitface defend.
I think the Pistons have a better strategy to to fade away. The only problem is that sometimes you need a little luck, and I think the what will happen for the Pistons is that they will try to fade away, and the teams that they have to play at the end of the season will be resting. And they will be resting where they don't care. And the hardest thing in the world is to keep a player from playing all out when they can. And you get these young Piston boys out there, and, the competition just isn't, like putting their best game out there. Hey, I know what y'all want to do, but I want to show my talent. So the Pistons will mess around toward the end of the season, and they'll need to lose 1 or 2 games to keep that, and they'll be playing one of the teams that for them it's rest the starters time. We working on the bench and mess around and win. So and fortunately for the Timberwolves, they'll be walking away with that number 1 pick. That's what I'm saying.
All right. You said the Pistons will fool around giving away that number 1 pick. Well, yeah, I mean, let's face it. Everybody knows the Pistons are rebuilding. I mean, they got a new general manager. I think it was last year, Troy Weaver. And if I'm not mistaken, he's from the OKC. He used to be at OKC. It was either OKC or the Golden State, one of the teams. So he's familiar with how teams put together players through the draft. He understands that, and that's the reason why he had given away Blake Griffin. He's basically putting this franchise together so they can be competitive years to come. And the only way you can do that, you have to start from the ground up with your draft, through your draft. Now, the thing is, though, I understand what you're saying, that during the end of the season, Spitface, that teams start resting their players. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like that in the Eastern Conference, because the Eastern Conference right now is so basically tight that you're talking about teams from 1 to 10, and there's only, 12 teams and 12 or 13 teams in the conference. So the Pistons are going to be going up against competition every night, to be honest with you. The thing is, I hate to say this, but the competition ahead of them, it's not really, the teams ahead of them are not, they're like middle-of-the-road teams. So it's easily, the Pistons easily could win games, because those teams, like the teams in the 10th place, 11th place, they're not that far ahead of the Pistons. So as you said, anything can happen. I mean, I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example. I watched the Knicks game last night against the Bucks. The Bucks did not have the Greek Freak didn't have I don't know why I'm having name blocks, but didn't have their guard, their number 2. They didn't have both of their starting guards. Both of their starting guards were not there. And Tucker wasn't there. They had like 4 or 5 major players not playing. Of course, the Knicks didn't have Julius Randle, and then unfortunately, their center he broke his foot. But regardless of that, the Knicks had enough to beat that team. They had a bunch of scrubs up there. You hear me? For the Bucks, and the game was close. So this is what they barely won the game. So what I'm trying to say is, even though I forget people's names, but what I'm trying to say is that on any given night, if you don't come to play, these are professional players, and they can beat you. So it's going to be competitive in the East, and Detroit could win some games, and that's going to be a problem, because they're not going to get that number 1 pick because of that. Now, like I said, in the West with the Timberwolves, it's a completely different story, because most of the teams in the West are far above the Timberwolves. And it's still competitive in that conference, too. So it's a possibility that, the Timberwolves will definitely not win too many games. But I look at the Detroit Pistons. They can win some of these games, even though they're trying not to. It still can happen. So that's unfortunately how the NBA it goes. When you want to tank, it doesn't always end up that way. You end up winning. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
All right, on the other side of the break, we have another performance from Funktastic Players on Shout Out Part 2. Keep those ears on the speakers and please stay tuned.
You are listening to Bras Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, we have another performance from Funktastic Players. DJ, let's hear I Got Soul. And I'm super bad. No, actually, the track is just I Got Soul.
I got soul.
Funktastic. Play it. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, Say 3, 2, 1. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Funktastic. Play it. I got soul.
All right. Kind of remind me of a little Maceo, and I thought the brother was going to break out with some bootsy in a minute. You know? All right, First Lady, I'm going to give it a shout-out. What's the verdict?
I will definitely, no, I'm not muting it. I'm definitely going to shout it out. I actually like this one a little bit better than I did the first one. So I'm going to shout it out all the way.
All right. This is the end of shout out. If you liked what you heard from Funktastic Players, check them out on Facebook and on Old Grumpy Radio. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to content at oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, back to you.
All right, it's time for the hardware picks. Now, we had a question last week. You know, it's been crazy with this men's tournament. There was a whole bunch of upsets. So the production assistants are still going through all them upsets. So we'll know last week whether or not, the results from last week. We don't have it because it's been so many upsets. And you remember last week we had to see if, I think it was half of the number ones were debunked. But anyway, so we still checking it out for the results. Now, this week we have the picks. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship is in full swing. Arkansas versus Baylor. $150,000 for the right answer, minus $150,000 for the incorrect answer. All right. So we got Arkansas going against number one seeded Baylor. I've been doing really good with my picks. I'm at my score right now is 510. Considered that, like I said, there's been so many upsets, I'm a little bit proud about my score. As a matter of fact, I got a higher score than any other celebrities on ESPN. But I am going to pick Baylor, Spitface. Like I said, I don't think these number ones are going to be seeded. Already one was, but I think it was one, so we'll double check it next. We'll have that result. But I'm going to go with Baylor. Who do you have? I'm looking at Arkansas, and it's just that they've come back, double-digit deficits to win, to be in. Now, there could be, everything's debatable. Like, hey, maybe the route they had, was easier than Baylor's, but when you're the ranked team playing the underdog, well, hey, it's always to your advantage, supposedly until you get out there on the court. But there's something about Arkansas and the way that they, it's like they're a team that can kind of scare you. And it's like, or you could kind of take them for granted and get burnt. Because these boys can play. The Razorbacks, the Hawks, the coaches fired up. I'm going to roll with Arkansas. I'm going to roll with the Baylor, probably has a little bit better squad, but I don't think there's all that big difference. So I'm going to go with the Razorbacks. All right, you're going to go with the Razorbacks. Yeah, coming back from them double digits. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, they can do it. They got something going on. All right. Okay. We'll see. But, there's been a lot of good games. All right, it's time for our outrageous prediction. Spitface, what is your outrageous prediction? My outrageous prediction is that Oscar De La Hoya will not only win his July 3rd match, but he'll retire at the same time and go, I ain't going to do this stuff no more. Okay. Well, my outrageous prediction, I believe the Nets, with all these people, they're getting, now you heard that the Spurs forward is coming on the Nets. So the Nets are, they get all these good people on their team. But my outrageous prediction is the Nets will not get past the New York Knicks in the playoffs. That's my outrageous prediction. The New York Knicks will beat the Nets in the playoffs. All right, again, it's Women's History Month, and I just want to shout out and recognize Simone Biles because she has done so well in the Olympics. She has won 19 Olympic medals, and 14 of them are gold medals. And it's unbelievable because she's won 19, not gold, 19. She's won 19 medals altogether, and 14 of them gold. And then she's had the Olympic successes. And you have to salute her because of her tough upbringing. She was adopted by her grandparents, and she went through a lot in her life. And she's been one of those women that has been able to succeed. And I just look at Simone Biles as a very powerful woman in today's society, and she deserves all the kudos. So shout out to Simone Biles. Please visit us at BrasPantySports.com, where you'll find the links for the latest episodes. This has been Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.